Hello, my name is Shailyn Shirley, and I'm here with Faith to Fight hosting our second podcast. Faith to Fight was a breast work Texas to help the breast cancer community here. This Our founder was able to see a need for support within our community, so she decided to create Faith to Fight to do so. With this podcast, we are allowing breast cancer survivors and people in the community, also leaders, to come tell their stories and allow for our audiences to see their life. Today we have Isabella Mulan here to share her story with us. How are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you.
That's good to hear. So I'm so happy that you're here to tell us about your story and uplift the community while doing so as well. What were you diagnosed with, and can you just tell me a little bit about that journey?
Sure. In 2004, I was diagnosed with DCIS, which is precancer in situ. And I just didn't believe I was part of the cancer group, but I went through that. I had a mammogram, and it said, you have DCIS. So I went, and the doctor said they wanted to do a biopsy. So I got my biopsy done, and it confirmed the DCIS cancer, the precancer. And so after the surgery, the biopsy, they said they wanted to do a mastectomy because it was so much precancer in there. So they wanted to do a mastectomy. So we scheduled the operation, and I had to get a plastic surgeon to do the reconstruction. So I was going to have reconstruction at the same time. And so everyone was on the same page. We did the surgery, and they took my breast, and the plastic surgeon was there to implant a expander. And an expander, it creates a pocket. You fill it over time with saline. It creates a pocket, and then you have another surgery for the implant. So it creates a pocket for the implant, pretty much. So I did all that, rehabbed, got better, got the, it took about a month of filling the pocket with saline, and so I had to go through all that. The pocket was finally ready and big enough for the implant. So we had that surgery, and they gave me the implant. After I rehabbed from that surgery, I decided I wanted larger implants. So they said, well, hey, you just had your surgery. You don't have to get another mastectomy. I said, yeah, okay. Well, I still had all this time before the surgery, so I'm like, let me go get another mastectomy. And the other mastectomy showed real cancer on the other side, on the other breast, on the left breast. Real cancer, not pre-cancer, real cancer. So we had to schedule another mastectomy all over and start the process all over again. So, yeah, I have two implants. Hard way to get implants, but hey.
And could you tell me about the last time that you were diagnosed?
Well, I was diagnosed, like I said, with the precancer. Well, no, with the real cancer or the precancer?
In 2007.
In 2007, that was stage 4. That was stage 4. So what happened was I had stage 2 on the left, precancer on the right, stage 2 on the left, and then in 2007, it metastasized to my brain, skipped the lymph nodes, so I didn't have any lymph nodes affected, but it went to my cerebellum in my brain, and that caused a lot of problems. that was the hardest surgery to rehab from.
Yes.
Just because, I mean, your cerebellum controls all your autonomic responses, walking, breathing, everything.
Yeah.
So with that damaged, it was really difficult. Like writing, like today, I don't write, and I'm still, I went from, because I was in a wheelchair, I couldn't walk, and I changed from like a wheelchair, I grew stronger and got in a like larger seated walker that had larger wheels. So Stanford bought that for me, which was nice of them to do, because they saw how much I progressed from my old lady walker that had skis, not tennis balls. But they saw how well I was able, my gait improved when I was on that two-tire seated walker. So they bought me a seated walker. Yeah, it was just a difficult process all around, rehabbing from it to trying to walk, and learn how to walk again.
Yes.
And I moved from the wheelchair to the old person's walker to the walker I'm on now, but I also moved to a cane. So I'm progressing, not in my high heel designer, heels, but not there, and it's been all this time. But I'm progressing.
I'm so glad to hear that you are progressing, and I can't even imagine going through what you went through, but I'm so glad that you're here with us today to share your story. When you were diagnosed, if you can put into your own words, how did you feel?
Well, when I was initially diagnosed, I didn't feel part of this group at all. I didn't feel like I was a cancer patient. By the time the cancer came around to my left breast, I was like, okay, God wants me in this group. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but God wants me in this group. And then after the stage 4 cancer, I'm like, I'm definitely in this group. 'Cause my first pre-cancer diagnosis, I wouldn't get chemo or anything. So I'm like, I'm not part of this group, why get the chemo? After the second time, I finally got the chemo, lost all my hair, shaved it off so I can donate it to Locks of Love. So those girls can make wigs out of our hair, and yeah. And then after I did that, because I was fine after my first diagnosis, I had long hair, I was, modeling still and everything. It wasn't until the second diagnosis that I was like, no, I need to shave my hair, and, yeah. And then it wasn't until that third diagnosis was stage 4 where I was like, okay. And I've been saved from this. I'm almost 20-year survivor. When I first got diagnosed with stage 4, I was like, okay, God, why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? I'm supposed to be doing something. You didn't take me. You don't need me. So what am I supposed to be doing here? And I figured it out. It was stuck to women about this.
Yes. I'm so glad that you're able to talk to us about it today as well. I know that you had so many feelings, and those would be typical feelings that I would have. I know that you have a son and that you ended up making him a memory box. Could you tell me a little bit about the memory box?
Sure. When I got stage 2 cancer on my left breast, I'm like, he was 7, and I'm like, I'm not gonna see him graduate. I know I'm not. And then when I got to stage 4 cancer too, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna see him graduate. Let me make him a box full of things that I wanted him to have, like milestone birthday cards, cards for when he got engaged, when he got married, what I wanted him to wear to his first interview, you know, and other clothing and stuff like that that I wanted him to have. And, cause I knew he wouldn't have his mom. So I just wanted him to know that he was loved and that he had a mom that really cared about him. And I put this together in memory of me for him.
I know that those feelings while you were making it was probably just overwhelming, and
Yes.
I'm just so glad you're still here and you didn't actually have to use the memory box because you've been here for most of those memories so far, so that's uplifting. It's amazing to hear. With all these changes, did you have a support system to help you and to just show you some extra support that you needed?
My in-laws were wonderful. They kept our house going when I couldn't. So they drove down from Kansas, like they drove a good, 5 hours, 4 hours, something like that. And just cooked and cleaned and took my son to preschool. I mean, it was wonderful. I don't think he was in preschool yet. Yeah, cause he was only 3 when I first got diagnosed with pre-cancer. But they took him to daycare. I mean, it was just wonderful. It was wonderful. I felt completely loved and supported. And, you know, in all my research, it tells you how important support is for your breast cancer journey. So I'm happy I had that. They came for the first 2 surgeries for my breasts. And then my mom came for the last stage 4 brain surgery. Yeah. God, that was a hard one.
Yeah. I'm so sorry that you had to go through all that, but like you said, it is extremely important to have support, and it really can help you in those lowest moments of your life to have that support. So I know you did have the support that you had from your family. Did you have any personal struggles that you want to talk about throughout your journey?
Well, I think my struggle was that I was just so young when I was first diagnosed, and there wasn't a really good support group for younger people that I knew about. And then later I found Young Survivors Network, and I worked with them. So, I mean, that was my major struggle. Like now, people are getting cancer at all ages. So there are a lot of groups that will cater to younger people. They didn't have that when I was first diagnosed.
Yeah.
So I would think that was one of my biggest problems.
It definitely would be. I'm glad that you're able to have that you were able to find that support, even though it wasn't as easily found for you. So was it an online group or?
No,
Oh, wow.
they met in person, and it was wonderful. But it took time for me to find them. Yeah,
That's
it took
nice.
time. So, you know, I mean, you have the support of your family, but they don't really understand what you're going through. You really need someone else that has been there to help you through and navigate your journey.
Yeah. I understand that.
Yeah.
I really understand that. I'm so glad you were able to find that support for yourself. I wanted to know, what was something that just helped you keep yourself motivated throughout the whole entire journey? Like, what were some things you were able to do? Anything?
Well, okay, a couple of things kept me motivated. I was sent away from my family and my marital family, and I was sent back to my mom in California, and from there, I went to a gym every day, and I would take every aquatics class they had, every aqua anything, aqua tai chi, aqua deep water, whatever, and in all the classes, there were seniors. And I was just trying to keep up with the seniors, because the seniors just could do everything, and you're fully supported in the water. So, I mean, you don't have to worry about balance or gait or anything like that, because you're fully supported. And they could do everything, and I'm like, I'm gonna get it's good to see seniors. So, I mean, yeah, that totally helped me and motivated me. The other thing that really, really helped me was getting back to my son. He was the factor that motivated me. I would take an exercise helped. I would take short walks. Like I went down the street one day, and then I went around the corner another day. So it would just get lengthier and lengthier, because I was like, I have to get better so I can get back to him.
Yes. Kids are definitely a big motivator, and I'm so
Yes.
glad you had all the other ones, just a simple activity and being around other people that were not necessarily in your same shoes, but they were also working towards the water, the balance and everything. So I'm so glad you had those motivators. Did you have a message that you want to share with the women in the community today?
I do. I want people affected by this disease to know that a cancer diagnosis, especially breast cancer diagnosis, is not a death sentence. That you may not be able to fight what's going on with your body and how long you can be here on this earth, but you can definitely control your mind. You can't control everything else, but you can control your outlook, and you can give yourself the best life possible, and the best well-being. I mean, you control you and how you feel about going through cancer and what you feel like. So if you want to motivate yourself to feel better, I mean, it's possible. It's possible. In order to get through the diagnosis, you must be positive. You must be positive, and your outlook has to be positive. And in my counseling sessions, I talk to people about being positive, taking steps to control the negative thoughts, things like that. And there are lots of other things that you do, but yeah.
I'm so glad you were able to share that message with us, and just to keep that positive thinking and that positive mentality. It really does all start within your mind, and you have to make sure you control your mind even in the darkest days and the darkest hours. So I also know you have a website and a book. Could you tell me a little bit more about those?
Yes, I wrote a book just about my experiences with my ex-husband, and that, centered around me getting cancer, and I have tips in there. It's like 2 halves of a book. Tips in there for everything that helped me in my journey. Like I said, and then I have a coaching site for people that want to talk about cancer and their fears and their depression and whatever they want to talk about and get through, because you need support, and not everyone wants to go to a support group to share. So, yeah, I counsel people about that and talk to people, but like I said, mostly in the book, is to give tips on what to do, from yoga practices to exercise to positive self-talk. I mean, all kind of things that you can do to improve yourself and improve your journey.
Yes, I'm so glad that you were able to take the time that you had and turn it into something that can help others in the community. Would you like to share the name of your book with us?
Sure, it is called Praying for a Miracle When It's Hopeless.
Okay, Praying for a Miracle When Hopeless.
When it's hopeless.
Oh, when it's
Yes.
hopeless.
And that's the website too. It's Isabella-Mulan.com. And also the site, they're kind of linked, but the other side for the coaching is warrioragainstbreastcancer.com.
Okay. Please make sure you check out both of those websites, and hopefully her book as well, just to get that extra inspiration if you need it and you want to go somewhere else besides a support group. She is literally here to help you, and she has such an amazing and uplifting story. Thank you so much for being with us today and tuning in. And next week we will come back with another breast cancer survivor to share their story. Wednesday at 2. Thank you so much.